All right, guys. Um, so today we have special guest, uh, DJ Dabo.
What's cracking? Oh, damn,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
yeah. So we're doing here on the FaceTime.
Yeah, for sure.
He's been a DJ for a very long time. One of the first DJs that I ever like met when I wasn't even a DJ and
Yeah,
he was
for sure.
DJing. Yeah, so I wasn't even a DJ. He was already doing his thing. He was going around with like some of the best DJs at that time, which was like 2010, 2009, 2010, 2011, doing a lot of like LA parties, warehouse parties, kind of like all the underground stuff. You know what I mean? So those were like kind of like good old days. And the reason why I have a lot of respect for him is because back then it took a lot to be a DJ. Like I think I was mentioning to you guys. You know what I mean? Like people DJs would session, you know what I mean? They people wanted to be the best. They like anybody that went to a party, they went to go watch that DJ like do their thing. Now I feel that people just go to parties because they want to go party and they just want to go get messed up, whatever. Yeah, that's fine, by all means. But back then, people were going to parties because this is a DJ borracho party, like he mentioned. That was one of his really good friends, or this is a DJ Dirty Draws party, something like that. So he comes from that culture, he comes from that like party scene and stuff, and I think that going into the new world of DJing, having that background makes you a lot better because you just have a different kind of passion for the craft, you know what I'm saying? So like I said, he's been doing it for a long time. He's done probably all the clubs in Hollywood,
Yeah, for sure.
everything like that. He's done mixes, all that good stuff. So what I've been talking to them lately was about like building a night, like how to DJ, with being an opener, being like a support, being a headliner, being a closer.
Okay.
We've talked about. I mean, we also talked about like the technicality stuff. You know what I mean? Like the beat matching, the scratching and stuff. But I mean, all that kind of stuff we can definitely ask him in the studio. Like see how he scratches and all that. But what I want him to kind of bring to you guys is just that experience of being a DJ, back in the nightlife and the night scene and stuff. And then also, he knows how to open, he knows how to support, he knows how to headline, and how to close and stuff. So, but without further ado, man,
I like that's a good intro.
yeah.
Shit, my boy, goddamn.
Of course.
For sure. Well, yeah, like I said, for sure, I've done all the fucking warehouse parties, all these like random Compton parties, LA parties, Linwood parties, warehouses, clubs in Hollywood, to doing weddings, Citadel, like all these little gigs, all these gigs with famous. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, it's good to have to be super versatile to be able to do everything. For sure, what I'd say nowadays, like you said too, it's different where they're not really looking for like, the name of the DJ. Because before it was like, oh yeah, it's Badacho or Dirty Draws is on a party, or Arlie, which is like some Linwood people, Static, all these people, they'd be like, oh, we're gonna go to that party, But now it's like a little different with just like the venues or the event or whatever, but it doesn't mean the DJ got sucked now. You know what I mean? It's cool if we could still hold it down, because then those definitely, as a DJ, I can definitely say it. When I'm at spots and I'm mixing, like at the bars or all the stuff that we do, even at the Citadel, I have so many people come up to me, always telling me like, bro, good mixing, love your music. Like just a selection, you know what I mean? Everything like that. Just because, it's good to have to be different, still have your taste. I mean, at the Citadel, you got to be clean music compared to if you're at a bar, you can play dirty music, whatever, but it's good to always have your like taste of what you like, don't just try and stick in a box to like what you think is popping or what you want. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna say genres because every genre has a good song to whatever, like, but don't just stick in a box thinking, which is cool. Like, don't be afraid to expand and like see other hip hop, other EDM, remixes, bootlegs. Like, there's so much stuff that just could sound cool and still work out there, reggaeton stuff. You know what I mean? So, but as far as like building sets and stuff like that, I mean, have you guys done like, I don't know, parties or anything like that, or nothing? Isn't there like DJ anything like that before live or anything? Because there's still, I know you have,
I've done a few. Tony, I think he's done a few and stuff, right? And he's barely
learning, and that's
starting.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool. And have it been just like what, like actual parties, family type things? It's been like an all night kind of gig, like you guys are just doing the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, for sure. So see, when you're doing that, yeah, that's like when the open format thing will come into play, because for sure you got to have all genres. Because so when you're doing an all night, a 5-hour thing or whatever, 6-hour gig, it's cool to break down your set, or like how you're gonna do it. Like what he was kind of say as the opener, the support, headlining, the closer, because when you start, let's say you start a party at 8, you know what I mean? You're not gonna just go and start playing bangers, WAP, and fucking, you know what I mean? Whatever's popping right now, you know.
Gotta lead up into it.
Gotta lead up into it, you know.
You
So you
start
want
off like chill, and then you gotta.
Yeah, but like you still want to play good music, you know, because you
literally.
want to keep people interested. If you play stuff that's not popping, then you know they're gonna be like, oh, okay, this guy, you know. So still play like cool pop and hip hop, but you don't play like the bangers, you know what I mean?
Like a pregame.
Yeah, like what I would say, what I kind of like to do is like think about like give yourself like a 5-year limit of music and think about like what's the hits from the last 5 years. Whatever's not, so like we're in 2020 right now, there's already a bunch of music, we're 6 months in, you know. But 2019 to like 2014 or so, look up like you can go on Billboard and before you were able to, I think now you have to pay for it or something. But there's a way where you can find the hit songs from those years. It might just be on Google, and I would say download those tracks. You feel me?
Yeah.
And that would be like a good way to build your opening like sets. You know what I mean? Reggaeton, same thing. Like go back, like give yourself a 5-year limit or so, and download like the last stuff from the last 5 years. Especially with reggaeton, a lot of stuff has come out of reggaeton like the last few years. You know, it's got a lot more popping. So like that would be a good way to build up like your sets as far as like beginning, even for the support, because you're still gonna want to play like cool stuff, but not like the banging, because then you're taking away music from the headliner, like, you know, or from you yourself, because you could play. Let's say you're at a set and it's 10 o'clock, maybe it's kind of popping. You want to start playing cool stuff to get it there. But then at 11 or 12, more people come and it's like, fuck, I just played WAP. You know what I mean? Goddamn, you know what? And you want to be the DJ that doubles songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just like a long ass set. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to be at the Citadel, whatever, one of these days tomorrow or something like that. I'm going to double songs eventually. You know what I mean? It's a long set. But like if you're doing like a party or an hour set, especially, or whatever, you don't want to double. Number one. I hope y'all been teaching that. Yeah, don't double song unless it's maybe a crazy remix where you can't tell. You know what I mean? It's like just those words in there. But if it's not, then no, don't do that.
Yeah. What I tell them is like if you feel like you have to or something, as long as you know, like, okay, it's like spread out. You know,
for sure.
It's been like 2 hours,
a minute, 3
hours.
That's a good limit.
Know?
2 to 3 hours or so. It's like, all right, like fuck it, you know. Especially if you know the people are a little different or whatever, they're a little more turned. They're not gonna remember, you know.
Especially if you get that one person that's like, oh, can you play this song? And you just played it.
So that's tough. I know. I hate when they do that too. I'm
Yeah.
like, man, bro, I just played that. They're like, oh, I didn't hear it, or I wasn't here. Like, oh, my man,
I just got here.
And I was like, oh, like, hey, man, like, no, just
Or
wait,
like
bro.
The ones that want to like use like another genre, but the party's popping.
I know. Okay, so that is actually a good one because I hate when that fucking shit happens to me. Like the whatever bar, like where it actually happens a lot is at this bar called Sportsman Lounge where I DJ in La Mirada. Like it'll be cool. I have people dancing or whatever, and then like even sometimes a person will be dancing on the dance floor and will come up to me to ask for a song, and it's something totally different to what like everyone's vibing. And I'm like, whoa, like you're dancing right now. Like what are you doing? Like, so for me, what a good way I feel like to handle that without just being rude and shit. Because obviously, you know, as a DJ, you don't want to take no requests. Like it's like, yo, like chill out. Like unless the shit's going whack and I feel it, you know, maybe take a request to switch it up or whatever.
Yeah.
But if it's going good and people are invited, and you know what, sometimes people don't always have to be dancing, especially with how it is nowadays. People aren't getting ratchet like that, you know. Like before, like what we were talking about back in the days, man, it was ratchet tree. Like that's where the word came from. My boy.
I miss those parties.
Man, good old parties. Like, bro, the dancers will be packed dancing. You wouldn't even need that much, you know. Nowadays, people want the fucking aesthetics, to look nice, pictures. Yeah. You gotta look fly, like all that, which is all cool, you know. But they just took away the dancing, getting all sweaty, getting all fucked up. You know, that's what's popping, you know. So nowadays, it's also cool to, you know, if they're not dancing, but if you can read the crowd and you know, see that they're vibing, still talking, having a good time, drinking. You know what I mean? Like that. Like what I've noticed, I've come to learn DJing these last couple of years too, is like. Okay now, you know, because before I feel like it wasn't cool if they were just standing around drinking, you know. I was like, fuck, why is no one dancing?
Because we come from
the ratchetry.
We come from like if everybody isn't turned up wild and stuff, we felt whack. Like I'm doing a good job.
For sure. It was like, whoa, like what's going on, you know?
And then you just feel like awkward, like
yeah.
And then you're trying to like find the right genre to get everyone, and then you get a little bit, but it's not.
Yeah, it's just not the same. Yeah, it's not the same.
It's changed a bit.
It's definitely changed. And then so like you said, like coming from that, that's what I was used to for sure. Like just always being lit, ready to go. And then like I was usually like either closing support or like sometimes it'd be headliner for sure, but definitely always closing support for like the homies that were like doing it. And you know, it was getting it popping for them. So I was seeing that they would have it popping, and then I'll close it out for them and still pop until the end or until we got rated or whatever, you know. But I feel like maybe like I said, the last few years, you know, since I've been DJing and stuff, you see a difference. And for sure, for me, I thought it was a little weird at first. I was like, oh damn, am I not doing good and shit? But still, people come up to me like, bro, you're killing me, but I'm like, how the fuck's no one dancing? And then, you know, so I had to figure out like, all right, like every spot is for sure different, and a lot of spots definitely now like more catered to like the sit down, chilling.
Yeah.
So I feel like definitely right now in this age, for sure, being a DJ is help. It helps if you can definitely read the crowd and see that, because if they're sitting down, chilling, talking, vibing to what you're playing, you don't have to play the songs that are a beat like an EDM track, house track. You know what I mean? Anything past like 120 or something like that. You know, I would say everything below that, that's like hip hop and stuff, would be cool, lounging. You know, so you know, I feel like that's what lost of that is what goes into it when you're at these like bar spots, even if you're at a house party, because a lot of house parties like that too sometimes even now, where like it's funny because I'll go to a house party thinking like, oh, it's gonna be cool, like Ratchet, they're gonna be dancing and shit, and it's like still kind of the same thing. I'm like, damn, like tripping me. I'm like, this is where y'all supposed to get crazy. You're not like out there, you know. And I'm just like, wow, like this is really what it is now, you know. So,
see, you know, man, like talking about that, like the fact of how things have changed, and the fact that you've been like a DJ for so long. What do you think to you it takes to have that longevity as a DJ? Because I'm sure you've seen DJs like
patience
come and go.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? You've seen like the music change, the like the aesthetic of parties change and stuff, but like you're still here, you're still doing your thing. Like what to you, what does it take to make it to be around for so long and to like be getting booked?
I think that's a good question. I never thought about it like that. But for sure I'd say a lot of patience. That's like the first thing that came to mind as you were saying that. Yeah, definitely patience, because like you said, there was like DJs like, for instance, my good friend, his name was DJ Borracho, popping, bro, during our time. Like you wouldn't thought that nigga was gonna stop ever, you know? But I mean, things happen, you know, life happens, and you kind of stop DJing, whatever things happen. But I feel like for me, I just really, really love music. I produce music, I rap as well. I've been DJing forever. I did take a little, I stopped DJing for a little bit, for like maybe a year or so, because I just started working and doing other stuff, but I still came right back to it, like even after that. Like I just couldn't, I didn't like not DJing, honestly. So to have long, and you have to just kind of trust the like for instance, how old are you guys?
17.
How old are you?
5.
Okay, how old?
16.
So for sure, y'all, just because you're younger, obviously a lot more time like to build it up, you know?
Yeah.
You're our age, but there's no difference though, you know what I mean? Nobody cares how old a fucking DJ is, you know? If you could play bangers, and you can play bangers and the setup is clean, I feel like that's the two things people look at now.
Yeah. Bro,
you're straight. And you know what I mean? I'll just say a lot of practice, and it's definitely if you have your own stuff. I know you were saying you didn't have your own stuff yet, right?
Nice.
You're young. So for Christmas, bro, ask for something, you know, like that's literally what I did, bro. Christmas and my birthdays, I would ask for, because it's DJ stuff is expensive. It's not cheap. I'll tell you that right now. But I would ask for one thing, like, you know, to start getting shit, you know, it was a needle. That was expensive at that time. Vinyl's not really, but I'll get that together. The turntable, that was a big one I was asking for a long time. Finally got that, you know. The mixer, I got one. It wasn't the one I wanted, but they got me one just to get me started, you know. Like, you have to like work your way up like that, you know. So definitely for you, can I say you don't have your stuff? That'd be a good way for you to start.
Like for me, like my birthday this year, I got myself my turntable.
Okay, so you see, that's cool, you know, especially if you don't work and save your money. I'm sure hopefully your fam helped you out. They see your, you know, the struggle, you know what I mean? Because it's not easy, you know, but definitely, with the longevity stuff, a lot of patience and just sticking with the times, you know. Don't think that like, oh, just because whatever was popping 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it's still gonna be cool right now, you know, like just to keep playing. Like definitely always keep yourself fresh with the music and listening to everything. Like for sure, I felt like hip hop's like the number one music that I love. I listen to all the time, you know what I mean? But I definitely know every EDM track that's usually coming out, every house track, definitely every reggaeton track that's popping right now. I dip into the cumbias or whatever if it's cool, stuff like that, country if it's there, but definitely like, you know, got to keep up to date with all your music, you know? Like I don't know if Apple Music, Spotify, just be on YouTube, SoundCloud, however you got to do it, but it's all out there, you know?
Yeah, I think definitely that's like one of the biggest things is like sticking with the times and staying with the trends. I think when we talked about that too, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because if you're a DJ that gets stuck in a certain era, you're gonna be left behind.
And there's a lot of DJs that are kind of like that. You know, I go to like sometimes bars with my girl and stuff like that, and I'm listening to this. I'm like, whoa, like there's so much other stuff you could be playing, and like they're playing good music. Like that stuff is cool, but they're just not getting out of that. You know, you can switch it up because 80s is still good music to play. A lot of people love 80s music, oldies music. Like if you play or like oldies or funk, I guess you could say. Like people love funk. You know, so it's good stuff to play just to mix it in, throw it in there. But yeah, there's people that just don't even get out of it, and like you know. Then you get left behind at, you know, those gigs that, you know, maybe aren't what you think that you want or what you want, you know, not what you're really striving for.
So, yeah. And I think like a DJ is also seen as kind of like a trendsetter, you know what I mean? And
sure.
you in a sense have to be on top of the trends, or you have to be ahead of the trend in a sense, to in order to be able to set it. And I think that comes personally. I think like a more successful DJ that comes with also with like fashion and being like pop culture. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Just
You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? You just
I'm chilling.
That's
right
just
now,
what you
know
do.
what I mean?
You know,
and my boy's
and-
usually right there too. I know
because I got the polo on right now.
Trust, he's there though.
Hey,
don't,
well,
don't let that
man,
fool you.
that and and then of course it's the music too, so just always staying up to date, knowing what's popping right now. Like where he came in and he just like WAP, that's what he's just talking about. That's the hottest song because that's just what it is.
That is the hottest
song
song.
right and sometimes you can't fight it.
I like it. I don't bump that shit in my car every day and shit, but I fucking know it's a hot song, Trust. I know the Heina's gonna get crazy. I just DJ'd my little cousin's like quince and shit, and she asked me for that song, and I was like, "What?" and saying every lyric, I was like, "Whoa!" Like tripping out, you know what I mean? So yeah,
that too, man. And then party people. Another thing also was staying with the trends is that party people, they come in, and you see them come and go. You see them come like you see them like they'll turn 21, and then they're just ready to rage. You know what I mean? And they're coming out to the club every week, going out. Until they're like turned to like 25 or something, and then they, I don't know, they either like knock somebody up or they get wifed up,
life changes,
and then they dip out of the party scene and they just continue with their life, right? But us, this is our profession, so in a sense we're still in this. So then what's gonna happen though is there's like another little wave,
another generation. It never stops, bro. Like I would say I do a lot of research too on like old school DJs, like before like not like just EDM DJs, like look up like DJ AM, look up like DJ like Peso Rock or something like that. Look up like a DJ Dirty Draws and Broad. I think they even have videos on YouTube still. Like look up like we can get more of a list for sure, but like AM I'd say would be the number one y'all should look at because that was my inspiration. I had that fool's picture on my wall on a homo on my box. I think still like a lot of people's inspiration. Yeah, he was my inspiration really before he died. R.I.P. Yeah, he was I had him on my binder for school. Like he was my idol, bro. Like let me tell y'all. So he would be a good inspiration because he used to not give a fuck about what music he played. He was playing whatever music, and it was still like he made it sound good. Like it was songs you could never even heard of sometimes, and I was like, oh shit, like he made it just sound dope. And now that but back then I was like so tripped out, like how the fuck they do that? Now that I know more about DJing, I'm like, oh, okay, I get how he was mashing it up, But it's like you just don't even think like that as a DJ, and he took it there. So definitely what I did when I was young, like shit, like your age, your guys' age, man, I looked at a lot of videos and I would just like look at how AM Scratch would move, like his hands would move, and I'd like practice that in the air, like before I even had turntables and a mixer, I was doing that. And then when I actually got turntables in a mixer, like I already had like the movement down. Like it wasn't like I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, like I was on it already. So like don't be scared to like do that in the air and like do all that. Like bro, I used to do that so much in high school, like and people knew I was DJing, like, so they weren't tripping, but like
Oh damn it, you know that. I do that in class all the time.
Yeah,
people
like
think I'm crazy. I have my earbuds in and I'm like doing physics. I'm just like
hey man, you are crazy, but it's good to be crazy.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's the crazy ones that make the dope stuff, right? Because see, and that's another thing too, that since you brought up AM and stuff, like being a music lover, and he's a producer too. I know you want to get into producing too. You want too, right? Yeah, so he's a producer too. But being a music lover, it changes the whole dynamic of your DJing. You know what I mean? When you can listen, and AM like did it so amazingly well. He was like the first one too to really do that.
He set that trend, definitely.
Yeah.
Like there's not really DJs that do it like that, but if there is, they get it from him. Like no, without a doubt.
Yeah, you can always tell like, oh, that's DJ AM.
Like some
they even copy his combos. And
shit, for sure. Like Wonderwall, right? With the like the Oasis Wonderwall one. If you guys ever heard that, you ever hear all the DJs do it or whatever, that's his shit. He did that on the live and shit. He would do that live. That was just part of his routine. Now they have it like in a made mashup or whatever. You can get it, but yeah, it's he was definitely a pioneer for that. Where I would say like for me to like really, like he said, like a music lover, to look at music different, to see stuff you could play. Like there's a lot of songs that like just you would never even think,
Always listening, man. Like when you're in the car. I mean, especially I think a lot of like DJs, they always kind of talk about when they were like the music that they heard when their parents were making them clean on Sundays. You know what I mean? So it's just like always listening to those songs and seeing what you can do to make it bang in a club. Or as a producer, how can you take it and flip it? You know what I mean? Because dude, I mean, if you listen to Will I Am or like the Black Eyed Peas, all they did when they were popping back in like 10 years ago, they just took 80s records and flipped them in a little way, and then
Like
they
The
were
Weeknd.
They were hottest thing,
Right?
yeah. The week,
Yeah, he did that too. Yeah, with
yeah.
a couple songs, with a couple 80s tracks. Yeah.
Look now,
because they're older, so they know those 80s songs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they just make it sound good. And there's like, young people that don't know. They're like, oh, it just sounds cool, and then it draws in the parents and the kid. You know what I mean? But like you said, will.i.am was doing that for sure. Right now, they're actually remaking so many old songs.
Saweetie's. I mean, you guys are. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the Saweetie stuff. So it's like
Oliver shit's low key.
It's just like a remix and stuff. So it's just always listening.
But it's hot because people have that nostalgia for it. I feel like that's a good thing with DJing too, if you can understand nostalgia. Like, man, there's so many times when I play like an old ass reggaeton song or an old ass hip hop song, they're like, oh, like you just see, it's gonna hit. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. I'm just so used to it already. But like, just reading it and knowing that, like you said, the nostalgia is a good one. That's why they're remaking all these tracks. And
I think that's why a DJ makes a really good producer too, because we see the kind of things in the song that make the crowd react, or just even just a person react.
For sure.
So then I feel like DJs are usually the ones that make the most banging beats because if anything, what we're really trying to do is just make a song so that we can play it in the club.
Exactly.
It's gonna get everybody.
And that's literally what I do on all my songs. Like, before I even put them out anywhere, I'm playing my shit at parties or at the bar, so I can see how they react. If nobody reacts badly, then I'm like, for sure. Like, because no one's hardly ever, you're not gonna have someone like, oh shit, like, who is that? Like, who is playing? You're not gonna go walk up to them to ask. But if they're vibing to it and they don't react bad, then that's a plus. Right. Like, you did it right there.
That's the thing, because they're not going to know your track, if it's not out and stuff yet. But as long as you see, like, okay, nobody really twitched.
Yeah, no one was like looking like,
they just kept grooving. Like, okay, then that means, like, to them it's like, oh, I just don't know this song. Okay, cool.
And it was normal to them, like, that's for me, especially when I'm making music. That's like kind of one things I always try to like ask myself as one of the producer side, like, does it sound like something you can hear out there? That I can hear live, especially like, because I feel like for me also, all the songs I make. Hip hops, I make a lot of hip hop's like one of the main things I do, but I have a lot of EDM songs I make too, just on the side. Let me know, my boy. Yeah. But I have a lot of EDM stuff I make on the side too. And the number one thing I'm always thinking, like, how's this gonna hit live? Like, are people gonna fucking like go like that way there? Are they gonna like vibe out when the shit hits? Like, so that's like a big thing right there. You really gotta think of, and it helps if you've gone to like raves, if you've gone to shows, concerts. I know right now there's obviously nothing like that going on, but you can watch videos of it or whatever. But like, when you're able to get out there and do that, like, don't be afraid to get out there to a show or something like that. That's honestly it's funny because when you do your taxes for DJing shit, you can write that off. Tickets, like
concert tickets,
any expenses you had for that. Like, my boy, I go to this last year, I went to fucking everything under the sun this last year.
I ran into him at festivals in the crowd.
Yeah, bro, I actually have him so random. There's a video I'm walking by doing something and he's fucking in it. Like
you just see me
tripping out. And I think I was so fucked up, so I don't remember if I seen him like in live or moment or not. But when I was looking at the video later, I was like, what the hell? That's my homie. I walked right by. I was tripping out. But for sure, there's been times where I've seen him like just right there, talk to him, whatever. And like, that's part of it. Honestly, being a DJ is part of, like, that's part, like you said, is being a trendsetter, fashion thing, whatever. Because especially at shows now, everyone's dressed like fly. Like, it's good it's a good place to see fashion like live. You know what I mean? What people are doing, whatever. And then with music, what people are vibing out to, what they like. Because a lot of concerts, not every artist is popping, or not that we like. I'm sure there's a fan base for everybody. You know what I mean? But you can see like, oh, okay, that person was hitting. What is this? Like, oh, what's the artist? Oh, popping. And then for the producing, like, oh, okay, when he did this, like, they hit. You know what I mean? Or like when they were doing this, people sang back. Like, that's like a big thing right there. I feel like also when I'm looking for music, making music, wanting people to like sing back with your music if you have words in it, making it like an easy melody so they can easily chant back. Like, that's huge.
The catchy stuff.
So at the end
of the day, we're entertainers too. You know what I mean? And we like to make other people happy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. So like, definitely
finding what they groove to
for producing
and seeing and going to shows, man. Like, you have to start off as a fan, or not. You don't have to start, but you have to have that fan. At least be a fan. Yeah, you have to have that fan in you to like get that motivation to. Because I've like even gone through some like points where I like feel not motivated to either produce or to like DJ. I'm like, man, I don't want to do this anymore. But then I'll go to a show and I'm like, now I feel like that's what that's what it is. That's that spark. Man, that's what I love. Okay, no, let's keep going.
And then like you have like pretty much like a creation and
you feel inspired, like definitely. That's why I love
like your own stuff. Like
because that's why I love going to like, for sure, my number one when I was younger, like before I even was putting any music out and I was just producing in my room and shit, I would love to go to EDC Because I feel like after I'll come back from UC, I was like, damn, like I just heard so much fucking EDM music. Like I have so many ideas now that before going into it, I wasn't even thinking that, you know. I was just like, I just want to turn up or whatever, you know. But I want to get back and make some music now, you know. It just really, it's crazy, like how that happens, but it really does, you know. And I feel like even for DJing too, bro, like it just sparks you to want to like damn, like that feels rocking the crowd right now. Like that's possible. Like what, like, you know, playing that or whatever. Like I feel like it just really gets you motivated, you know.
Yeah.
And it's been, and like I said, right now with quarantine, I know it's tough. It's not really out there going right now, but this stuff is gonna end. You feel me? And as soon as it does, they're gonna want DJs. They're gonna want people to get it popping. And it's good if right now, like it's good that you guys are coming to these classes and stuff, and that you're learning. And because when this stuff is over, like if you guys are already ahead of the game and on it, you guys could get out there and just start DJing, you know, because you guys can make it cool. Like that's the one thing about DJs. It's funny because it goes in waves, bro. Like it might not be super cool right now or whatever, or for a moment, but then that shit's fucking up and everybody wants to be a DJ, you know? Then it might go down where it's popping, but it's not like the thing, but then it's right back up, but just in different forms of it, you know? Like when I was doing it, it was the house party stuff. That was what everybody wanted to do for DJing house party clubs. Kind of turned down a little bit. People started producing, and that's the thing now. And now DJing for raves and like being an EDM producer, like what you want to do, you know, like that's what it is, you know? There's a lot that goes with that, but that's what people want to do. And that's like what it is right now, you know? And if you go all the way back to the 80s, it's always been like that. People have been DJing since the 80s doing hip hop and stuff. That's how hip hop was low key made, you know? DJs in New York and shit, man. Just cutting music up, sampling music, doing stuff. I mean, a lot of the like DJ like Funk Flex and like all those DJs in New York and stuff. They're DJs, that's their name, but they're like for making music basically, you know, back then. That's just, you know, in their name.
That's crazy that you bring that up, man, because like in a sense, DJs, because of the fact that they're DJs, and we still are music geeks. You know what I mean? Like we just geek out on all the technology and all the frequencies and how music is made and stuff. So music geeks back then, DJs were seen as like kind of not cool until we made it.
Until you make it cool.
Because we were just rocking parties and everybody just want to have fun.
Because before it's like, oh, you're just on the computer all the time. You're just always listening to music on the headphones. Like you're mixing with like mixers or turntable, and like they're like, what the heck? But then they see you out there, like, oh shit, like that is tight.
But it was because they were so nerdy about like learning how to like loop a track and stuff. That's what at the end of the day ended up like inventing hip hop, because they were looping breaks. And then, you know,
from 80s songs and a rapper and like started, that. Yeah, exactly.
You know, and because they were music lovers and they were listening to the B-sides of records. That was another thing too. You know, this is like, I guess,
don't think just the hit songs are the hit songs, you know, like
this is like DJ history shit.
Yeah, for real. Like we can enter it now. I'm here, my boy. Y'all don't learn, man. Let me tell you.
Yeah, man. So like they were listening to like the B-sides of records, like not the hits and stuff. So they were listening to the stuff that nobody listened to, and they found like those little parts in the songs, like, hey, that's a cool beat. I'm gonna loop that, and the reason why they knew it was a cool beat was because they were playing this for the crowds. They would play this for the crowds, and they saw that that's what got the crowd moving. So then they were like, well, but it's only so short. It's only like a 10-second loop that the crowd like really starts moving. But then it's over. Now it's over. So then, but then they were like little nerds and stuff. So they were like, okay, well, I'm gonna make a line here, and then I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna buy 2 turntables or something, like, you know what I mean, and do all this technology stuff. And like now I'm gonna turn this 10-second loop into a 3, 4, 5-minute loop. And then their homie starts rapping, you know, saying like, "Get your hands up," you know what I mean? And then they started rocking part.
Yeah, just saying like MCing, really, you know, because like they were just doing stuff like that, and then just rocking it. And like, and it's funny because that's how it was back then, and even to nowadays, it's still super techie. As far as like knowing what to do on like for me, I use Logic to make my music. He might use like Ableton. So for both, if you want to get things done on there, you have to know shortcuts. Like for your better workflow, especially making music, like just knowing your hotkeys on the keyboard. You know, like if you can do that, it'll save you a whole lot of time instead of just like clicking through everything looking for stuff. You know, knowing your frequencies, like he was saying, like knowing what plugins are, like EQs, compressors, doublers. Like there's so many things. You know, for me, I went to the LA recording school in Hollywood, so I took the studio engineer or the audio engineer program, and that definitely like helped me with like my producing side. So you know, you could even do that. You could do that. You're still in high school. Highly recommend that if you're really serious about music, my boy. Los Angeles Recording School is like top. Like I feel like it's really good. There's other more music academies and stuff that are out there. I'm not saying that's the only one, but for me, I feel like it was really good, and it taught me like a lot of in-depth stuff about like sound, manipulating it, how to EQ it, like all that.
There you go, man. So, Peter, you want to introduce your boy Dabo?
Oh yeah. So that's I remember Damien and Tony. He works at Citadel.
Oh, okay, nice. You'll see me this weekend probably.
Yeah, Saturday and Sunday. Huh?
Yeah, Saturday and Sunday. Yeah.
Cool. For right now, do you guys have any questions at all? No. All right. One other thing that Dabo mentioned was trust the process, and to me, that's something like very important because it's for sure a long process. And he's been around like well now, I mean, producers that are like huge now, but he's been around them when they were like barely starting out.
For sure.
So, you know, you want to talk about a little bit about kind of like the process and like understanding that it's kind of a long.
It's long. So okay, yeah. So for me, I'll give you my example. I've been DJing like you were saying since 2009. We're in 2020. It's 11 years now. You know what I mean? I'm 26. You know, you go through waves of it, you know, and just seeing what's, you know, what it is at the time and trusting the process and knowing like even now, I'm 26, still DJing. I'm not where I want to be with it for sure, but you got to understand like, all right, I'm making money. Definitely. I do good DJing for sure wherever I'm at. And I see the progress like every year or whatever I'm doing, like I'm doing different things or whatever, you know? And I feel like when you're young, it's hard too, because I feel like when I was young, I used to really rely like on everybody I knew as my fan, you know, or the people that would come. So I was like, all right, I'm popping, you know what I mean? For sure. But as you get older, like he was touching on, like people kind of stop going, things happen, you get knocked up, you get jobs, whatever. You don't have as many like people coming out as you used to. And you start thinking like, oh, damn, like even am I cool for it or whatever? But then when you start DJing again and you get out there, it's like, oh, nah. You start to realize, you get new fans and you get different people. Now I have so like, you know, I was saying before when I had stopped or whatever, that's what I was thinking. Like, I don't know if I'm still down with this, you know? I don't know if I still had it like that. But once you get out there and you start mixing and you see how it is with the new, like he was saying, you get the new wave of people coming in with music, new wave of people turning up. Turning up is never going to go away. I'll tell you that right now. Bars and shit, clubs, people always going to be fucking doing that till we die.
Like, been around forever.
You know? It's just in different forms of it, but it's just turning up is there. And music is always needed for that. You know what I mean? So definitely, yeah, like trusting the process, because you want to, you know, if you're really serious about it and you do love music and you want to do this, it's gonna take some time. It's not gonna just happen overnight. You might get lucky if you make a hit track, and it might happen overnight, but the odds of that are very slim. You know, it's possible, but slim. But yeah, definitely trust. Yeah,
I think it's like just knowing that it's there's levels to this shit, right?
Yeah,
like, that's kind of the saying. Like,
definitely
there's levels, you know. And so like taking each step the right way and just appreciating the work that you're doing and accomplishing, just knowing that you're getting better. And that's why I like asked you guys to record yourself and practice.
Yeah,
because
record your mixes for sure.
Yeah, record and like
you can hear it.
I would even just record myself at a gig like for 4 hours, and then I would just like sit in the car and kind of just play it back and be like, oh, that was a cool mix, because sometimes you forget, you know what I mean? But it's a process, and then like little by little, it's gonna come easier to you. It's like a muscle, you know. The more you work it out, the better you're gonna get, and the stronger it's gonna get. And then it's going to be easier for you to sit down. If we're talking about producing, it's going to be easier for you to sit down and make a banger like that, you know, because you know the sounds to use, you know the plugin. I mean, plugins, like the tools you need to make something sound a certain way.
And honestly, when you start producing and you're really into it, you have a formula like to making beats and shit. Like a lot of my hip hop tracks, like I don't know, it's weird because when I'm making them, they all sound the same because I feel like I make them all the same. But when I show them people, they never tell me anything. So I'm like, for sure. But like, I have a formula to how I make it. And I'll tell you right now, every fucking hit producer to anything, they have a formula to how they're making beats. And the only way you get that though is from practice and doing a lot. It might sound cliche, but yeah, practice and like hard work on it. Like I graduated from that recording school in 2012. That was when I graduated 8 years later, you know? And yeah, I've taken breaks, you know, here and there. Definitely wasn't producing all heavy the 8 years. But if I had to put a time on it, definitely for 4 years heavy, especially these last couple of years, I've been heavy on trying to produce and putting on it. And I'll tell you right now, every day at night, I'm working on a track. Like it's a song that I already have or like a beat that I'm working on, but every day, I'm not even joking, you know? So it takes time. And then like every day I make a new beat. I'm like, damn, that should sound harder than the last shit I just made. Like it's crazy. Like, you know, and every time I make a hot track, I'm like, damn, I don't know how I'm gonna top that. And then you make another thing, I'm like, oh fuck, I just made another one. Like it's so weird, you know.
And
like
that's the thing that it never ends.
It doesn't.
This kind of thing, like, you know, we're talking, you know, depending on how serious you take it. But you know, if this is what you decide to do, be a music producer, be a DJ for the rest of your life, and do stuff like that, there's never really like a point where you say like, oh, I made it. you could like if you maybe you win a Grammy, it's like okay, yeah, I made it, whatever.
You know?
But it never ends because, like I said, you have to stay with the trends. You
Mhm.
you have to keep making music. It's a daily thing. As soon as and especially with the way things are now with branding and like marketing and the fact that you have to have like an online presence,
You really do
to like kind of
be relevant.
yeah,
honestly.
to be relevant and.
Like you were saying before we started DJing, that didn't matter how many followers I had or how I looked on my IG.
It was about how good you
it was
were,
how
right?
good you were, and like that's what I really used to practice on, and like that's what it was, you know. And now, like I can even say, like to this year, I started like thinking for myself, like, all right, I think I need to get on it because I was thinking like, nah, I'm good enough where people are gonna notice, and people do notice, but you don't get what you're thinking you should get, you know. And for sure, this year I've been thinking like, all right, I need to be way more on my social medias. I haven't even opened my Twitter in so long, but starting like last year or so, I started opening my Twitter again, and I was like, you know what? Twitter's popping. Let me fucking start putting stuff out. And it's just Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, all social medias, no matter how lame if you guys don't use them, if you guys think they're lame or whatever, all platforms just to promote your stuff for free. You know, that's a big thing, to promote your stuff for free. And I'll guarantee you, people hear it. Like, Facebook was when I stopped using Facebook probably like, oh my God, 5 years ago or so, you know? And then last year when I started making more music and putting it out more, I opened it up just to see what's up. And I saw people were so active on it, and I'll post my stuff on there, and I'll get so many messages of people saying like, yo, that shit's hot, or like, damn, Charles, I know you were doing that, wooty woo, whatever, you know? And it's like, oh, damn. Never realized that like that would work. Like, I don't know. I think I'll get that kind of feedback on Facebook, you know what I mean? So I thought it was dead, but then, you know, so don't be afraid to be on the social medias and putting your stuff out there. Even if you may think like, damn, I don't sound how I want to sound, you know, like, nah, put it out, bro. Like, you're young right now, like nobody cares. Like,
there's levels. You mean it's fine. It's fine if it's not the hottest mix. It's fine if it's not the hottest track. Put it out, and then like that teaches you only not just to like make the music, you know, on the back end, but it also teaches you how to promote and get it out there, because right now at like the level you guys are at, like nobody's gonna know about anything you do unless you let them know.
And I feel like for me, I messed up and slacked on that and just didn't, because I've been, like I said, making music for so long. I never used to put anything out because I was like, that's not how I wanted to sound. That's not how I wanted to sound. But I regret that because I should have just been putting my stuff out. Who cares? And you know, people see that. People just see the progress. You know what I mean? And that's why, for sure, as of lately, like I said, I've been putting a lot more of my stuff out. Right now, I have 2 songs on Spotify. They're not like nothing crazy. I have some streams on it. They're good. They're cool. You know what I mean? But when I did them, I thought they were good. Thought they were sick, you know? But now that I have all this new stuff I've been working on, I'm like, oh, fuck, those 2 songs suck. You know what I mean? And that's just how it goes. I'm pretty sure
the process.
That's the process. I'm
know?
pretty sure these 4 songs I think are sick as fuck right now that I have that I'm going to drop. So y'all be know it's 4 tracks. So I'm probably going to drop 1 a week, something like that.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, you know? Young One Draco, you know what I mean? But no, yeah, I'm pretty sure I think they're hot. Who knows? When I start making my new shit, it's not going to be hot, you know? And I'm going to be like, fuck. So for you guys that are young, like drop it, you know, mixes, music, whatever you got. Like if you think it's cool, fucking drop it. Who cares? Like odds are, even if it sucks, let's say you drop something and it does suck, let's just say, you know, knock on wood, it don't. But let's say it does, next month, 2 months from now, the people that were hating on it are not going to remember whatever you dropped. And if you drop something else, and let's say it's a little bit better but still sucks, they'll notice it, but they're not going to remember it. And you just keep going like that, you know?
Yeah, it's a never-ending thing.
It's a never-ending thing. Look at, you know, it's funny because I was listening to Kanye West the other day when I was driving and shit. I just want to look up his age and stuff. But that fool's 43 years old. He was born in 1977. That's old. You feel me? Old. He's old. You know what I mean? To compare it to like a Lil Pump, an NBA Youngboy, these are all young rappers doing it right now, you know? But Kanye, he's popping, older, but he's just with the trends and he knows music, you know? Like, you guys, you know, he's crazy. I'm not gonna lie. He's crazy, but he makes sense. You gotta really know what he's talking about, you know? But he's just, how the way he goes about things might be a little weird, but his music definitely, it touches. Like, no matter what year he drops it, like, he has, maybe the whole album may not be bangers, but he'll have tracks where the majority of it is popping, and he's just hitting like an emotional thing with a lot of his stuff, you know? And like, he's just sticking with the times, like, just being trendy with it, definitely with the swag. I mean, obviously, you know, Kanye is like, you know, top dog with the swag. Yeah, definitely, you know. But even since he was younger, like when he was just producing for Jay-Z and stuff, he was still swagged out, you know.
No matter what time it was, he was always with the swag at that point.
Always with it. Always looking at, like, you know, a lot of stuff now, I feel like swag and stuff like that is inspired from stuff back then that they used to do. They just make it a little more whatever's going on right now. You know what I mean? So yeah, like I saw, yeah, I was going with Kanye, even though he's a little older and stuff. He does it. He just drops everything, you know. He drops all of it. He has a lot. I'm sure he has music he doesn't drop, you know. But even the stuff he does drop, I'm sure you guys don't like everything he doesn't make, right? But he still puts it out, right? You know what I mean? And people are just like, that shit sucks. Oh, that shit's good. It don't matter. He's just gonna drop stuff regardless. I'm sure when he's 10 years from now, he's still gonna have a new album to come out just because that's what he does, you know? It's Kanye, you know? And who knows if he'll still be popping or whatever, but he'll still be doing it. And I say that because also I like the Lil Pumps and stuff like that, or NBA Youngboys, they're doing it young and they're just, you know, they got it young and they got lucky. That's more ups to them. They've probably been doing it since they were kids, you know? A lot of them have been doing it since they were like 14, 15, you know? So y'all that are like younger, drop your stuff, you know, put it out there because you never know what could hit, and like that's what gets it up there. And I know you were saying you're a little older, so like don't let that discourage you either, my boy. I ain't where I want to be. Definitely with DJ, I'm still striving. You know what I mean? And that's how you always gotta look at it, because you could be DJ Am. I'm gonna bring him up. I don't even think he got really popping in the scene until he was in his 30s, like 33 or so. Like he was always like, I feel like DJing like how we do, just doing gigs. Maybe you're at a bar here, a club here, whatever, but pop, as far as popping like global DJ, how he was being in movies and shit, because he was in movies like in Avengers and stuff in his 30s, and like, you know, it's just because he was with the trends, always with the swag, with the music, you know. So
and when you said like about Kanye, like that he's kind of crazy, like yeah, he's crazy, but the thing is that he's always in your face. He's always in front of you,
thinking about it
in some way. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, and I'm sure he knows. I'm sure his team and him know this.
Like, bro,
like,
crazy.
Let's
like,
get their attention.
That's already his character. With the like when he was doing the rants and stuff like concerts, like that's already him. You know, so fuck it, you could do that. It's like in wrestling. It's funny, I watch a lot of wrestling. Don't you know? WWF, it's awesome. Better than me now. It's all about promoting, bro. Like they don't care. Even if you get booed, they like that because you're getting a reaction. Like that's what matters, and that's what made me think like, oh damn, like Tekashi. I don't like Tekashi at all, but you know what? There's enough people that hate him, and there's maybe enough people that like him too, where he could do what he's doing, where he gets attention, he can still make money, whatever. Who knows how long it's gonna last the way he's doing it, but he's getting money right now. You know what I mean? And that kind of what matters in a way too. You want to get paid. You don't want to do shit for free. You don't want to be broke. You know, so
yeah, because we talk a lot about like promotion and branding and stuff, and I always say it's like you guys gotta like post, you know what I mean? Like post pictures, go take photo shoots, go like do things.
He's making funny videos right now and stuff for the TikTok. Like definitely, like that's what you gotta do, bro. Like you gotta have that kind of character. It's funny too because a lot of these little TikTokers too are trying to be rappers or doing that just because they have that image. Or like Fatboy SSC is one I know for sure. He's like he does like a whole bunch of producing kind of stuff or whatever he's trying to do right now. And he was just a funny guy on Instagram. That was it, you know.
Yeah. So and even TikTok for me is like, well, I didn't really even care about it, but then I was like, you know what, this is the trend. This is the new way.
It's just another way to promote yourself. Another free way,
you know, let's go.
Another free way to promote yourself at that. And if you have a sense of humor, like I know he does, you could be funny. I'm sure all y'all could be funny. If you guys want to be a DJ already, you're not afraid to put yourself out there. And that's like half the battle with like doing stuff like that, posting. You know what I mean? Like just putting yourself out there, like who cares? You know what I mean? Like you could do it. I know I'm funny. I make people laugh all the time, you know. I'm out there. You could do that, you know. I'll make as many videos as he does, you know. But you gotta post and just be up there. Like that.
Man. You can't be afraid, man, and you're gonna get hate. I get hate, you know what I mean? But
and everyone like that,
whatever, you know. I mean, whatever.
Who gives a damn?
But I don't care. Like, but then I look at their profile and it's like, okay, what are you doing? And they're like, fucking nothing. They're just, you know what I mean?
A lot of, if there's people hating,
like, all right,
probably don't even need making music. Not even trying, like you said, not making a video. You know, not making videos. You're not even putting yourself out there. You're just hating from the sidelines. You know, like get out of here. And most of the time, you're gonna get more people that fuck with it on the stuff than like you're gonna get hate. And you know, you're gonna get comments like just emojis or whatever, and like. That's like good if you got that, you know, like so, and that's your motivation. Even if you get one comment like that, that is how you can start off, like, you know, and you build up off of that. You remember that, like, oh, I got one last month, now I got 5, whatever, you know what I mean? You just go up from there, honestly.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that anybody who really knows about this stuff and like really appreciates and stuff would know, like, you know, this guy's trying. Like, you know, this guy's trying to put out content.
Exactly.
Because I would respect anybody like that. Anybody that is putting out content, that's putting their best foot forward, putting themselves out there. I'm like, you know what, man, respect, because it takes a lot to do that for the first part. And then I know the hustle behind it. So even if it's not the best, hey man, keep going. You know, and eventually it'll get
better. Yeah. And not all these TikTokers or YouTubers, whatever, you see their first video is so funny or whatever. They have a lot of shitty videos, I'll tell you. You know what I mean? Even now, I know they make shitty videos. They only put out the best content, you know? I don't think everything they're filming is A1, you know? Like it gets there, you know? So yeah, definitely take a lot of time. Like I feel like with that too, do research on like the game, or I don't know how to explain like the industry, YouTubers, TikTokers, videos. Like, you know, it's good to see other people's stuff. So, you know, like, all right, how to promote yourself, what to do for yourself, because you don't want to copy someone's whole thing, you know, and bite their swag. That's not what you want to do. You want to see what someone's doing and then tailor it to yourself so you can do your own thing. And then you're unique. After that, that's unique. You know, you did it. Like
Exactly.
as far as like your style or whatever you're trying to do with videos or even music. You know, like yeah, that's what you gotta do.
Yeah,
honestly.
like because even like with like say TikTok, like you could, if you're more of a producer, you could be putting out producer tips and kind of blow up that way.
A lot of videos, and there's people,
Remixers,
so many
you know what I
YouTube videos of that, like producer tips, people put like even DJ tips. You know, if you guys look it up on YouTube and stuff like that. Yeah, and there's a wave for that, where you can make money and have,
Bye, nerds.
buy and make money and do like all that kind of stuff. You know, so it's
Yeah,
possible.
and the reason why we're like I like to bring this up is because I feel it's just a very big aspect and part of being like a successful DJ, you know, or like a DJ with longevity. Because you, like I said, you have to stay in front of these people. Like if you, at the second that you don't post, if you stop posting for a month, you stop putting out music for a year, or you just stop doing anything in front of these people, they're gonna forget, because now people's attention span is so fast and there's so many people doing this stuff that somebody else is gonna get their attention. And I mean, an example, like, well, I don't know, Pump, I guess, you know, I feel like he kind of like, he put out so much stuff, but then he stopped, and like in a sense, like people kind of forgot about him a little bit. I hope he makes like a comeback.
Yeah, he has cool
like
music.
that.
I like Lil Pump. He's funny. He's a little crazy right now with what he does, but yeah, like what he was saying, he dropped a lot of stuff in the beginning.
Yeah, you know,
and I feel like he
gotta
kind of
keep
set,
going.
yeah, and he set that trend for himself. Where like that's what people expect now, you know. And he's the type of rapper where it's not stuff that like that song with Kanye. I love it. It was a popping song when it first dropped. It was the hottest shit. Not really so popping right now, you know. And that's the attention span part of it. Where people, it's so fast, you know. And you know, I'm sure Lil Pump is paid or whatever. That's why he didn't really care about music, but if you want to stay relevant and you know, that's kind of what you got to do, especially for us that we're trying to make it. Definitely, we don't have the luxury to like, you know, drop something and wait for a year, you know, like no.
That's like what Kanye can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like Kanye can go MIA for like 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. And it come out and people are gonna be like, oh my god, I've been waiting for this, you know.
But
like,
he's built that.
He's built that. For us, we can't do something like that. You know, you got to be always. That's why I say always working. Should drop your stuff. Like if you're making music mixes, whatever. Like post pictures. Be on your story too, like showing people that you're working, you know, like I feel like that's a good image for you. Like yeah, like I know like a few DJs and stuff like that, like with Dioro, you know, like he's big as fuck right now. Like I know him, he's my homie. His image, he used to be so different before. He used to always try and post his stuff like in the studio working, and that's like as a producer, you know. But as he started getting bigger and he was touring, they had to switch up his whole image to like, all right, now we gotta start posting the stages, the fans, like all that, because that's what you're trying to go after, you know. And like that's because now they're not just trying to show like, oh, you're like that producer always working so serious, and like that was kind of his image before. Now he's looked at as like, oh, you're lit, like wherever Doro's at, it's a popping party, you know. And so like that comes like with how you treat your social media, you know. And so yeah, like just staying like active with it and being able to post things like that, like, you know, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Like, damn, like I don't know if I'm gonna get 100 likes, or I don't know if I'm gonna get people that like it. You might get hate on it, but who cares? Like post it. Hashtags too. Hashtags are a good way to get a lot of your stuff out. I didn't really used to do that before too, but I noticed that hashtags, you'll get so many random just people look at hashtags. I don't really used to think about that, you know. But yeah, you can do it, and it's a good way just to put your stuff out. And yeah.
So yeah, and also like knowing your audience, I guess too. Like because you said, you know, sometimes you have to analyze and take a step back and be like, okay, who am I presenting this work to? You know what I mean? What do they want to see? You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like I said, we're entertainers, and we're here to make somebody else happy. You know?
We're doing it for
and like with branding and stuff, what I like to consider is like when somebody goes onto your Instagram, it's like they're taking a step into your world. And then so how enticing is your content to make them stay there long enough to end up like clicking your song or something like that, you know? So understanding what they're into, this type of sounds they like, you know, that helps you pick what you're going to be posting and all that kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, recognizing, like you were saying, with the music to play. Yeah. Like if you're in a certain spot, you know, like I say, well, WAP, popping song, you know, but doesn't mean you want to play WAP if you're maybe at like a spot that doesn't really like hip hop, you know, and you get like La Chuparia, you know. They like hip hop there too, but you know, it's more of a Hispanic spot. You can see the vibes. All right, maybe more reggaeton and like cumbias and stuff like that. And that'll be more of the predominant music you play, you know, and then you throw in the hip hop later once you kind of got them tired of that, you know. But if I'm at like a Hollywood club or one of these other little bars or house parties I do, everyone probably likes reggaeton, but hip hop is usually another one where that's like more predominant, you know. And you do that, and then you mix in the reggaeton because people like that kind of shit too, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely that reading the crowd is a good one for sure.
Do you guys have any questions so far? No.
Oh, like on the producing side, what do you think of like labels and stuff like that, like record labels?
Definitely being independent, bro. Especially right now, that's the wave, man.
Yeah.
Like I don't really like a lot of Russ's music. Russ is cool, but I don't like a lot of his music. But he's given a lot of free game when he talks stuff about being independent and not signing to a label. Yeah, it's funny though because signing to a label it could help because they got the money and you need money and stuff to put yourself out there, to put music out there, to get clothes, to do videos. Like it all takes money. Nothing's free out there, you know. So yeah, it takes money. So that's where the benefit is of signing a label. But if you do that, you're gonna sign, your masters are gone, your music is gone, and hopefully you do make it popping like a Kanye or one of these people. You might not be able to get your masters, or it might be super tough or expensive to get them. You know. Now, if you could do it like how Russ did, independent, I mean, you have to be consistent. He dropped a song for a week for like he dropped a song a week for like 2 years or something like that. You know. So that goes into like the hard work aspect of it. So imagine being able to drop a song a week for 2 years and then still having songs to go ready, and then like he's popping, you know, he's big right now, he can do anything, you know. So yeah, so you know, I feel like you have to look at your situation when it comes to that, and you have to look at who you're going to sign with. Like I wouldn't maybe just go with the Capitol Records or the Def, like, you know, a big old label like that, you know. Don't be afraid to look at like DJ Mustard, he has a label 10 Summers, you know, and like little label like artist labels like that, because it might be better, you know. That's when you get there and you think about that, you know. But it's good to do your research now and know about the game, because you don't want to get, let's say you do make it popping and you don't know and you get fucked over right away. That's a no-go, and then you'll be in a bad situation the whole time, and you're not even being motivated to make music. That's how a lot of these fools are, you know. So definitely, yeah, I do a lot of my research with that. Like I listen to what people say. Kanye right now is putting his contracts on Twitter, his contracts, you know, and like what he's like everything, you know. So like I've read every page he's put out. Like it's a lot of mumbo jumbo. I understand half of it, but the stuff I do understand, I'm like, oh, okay, like I get what he's talking about, where he's getting fucked over. He doesn't own the rights to stuff, and he's a big ass name. He's not on like boards and stuff like that. And like he is just a rapper, but you're Kanye, and like, you know, it's like he's actually breaking down walls, bro, that like people aren't even like thinking of, because there's older generations of people that aren't thinking that Kanye's like your mom or something that probably doesn't exactly know who Kanye West is, you know what I mean? Or like something like that, your grandma. And just people that are like your mom's age or your grandma's age are still running shit for these big old brands, you know? And that's what Kanye's trying to get at. Like, y'all don't know. Like, you know, you're not giving him the respect that he deserves. And that's like the kind of stuff I feel like he's getting at without really saying it like that. He's just kind of going off and talking shit to people, you know? But that's where he's getting at. But yeah. But definitely, first thing when it comes to producing, my guys, work. Make a lot of music.
Yeah, don't worry too much about the look. This is the way I see labels. Like at the end of the day, what you have to understand about music is that it's a business, you know, and these labels and stuff, like to them it's business.
One.
Somebody was complaining, I think I saw somewhere like on Facebook that like, oh, the owner of Spotify isn't even a musician and he's making billions. It's like, yeah, because he's smart, you know what I mean? So this is a business, okay? So now if you're coming to a label, I feel that the better way to come to a label is when you bring value, and but in the first place you need to build that value. You know what I mean? So
have a little fan base, have an image, definitely have music ready to go.
So be independent. To me, it's like, dude, if you can do it all on your own and have your own shit, that's way better. But I understand that labels do have an impact. They do have a lot of power. So okay, that's fine. Let's use them, right? But now it just comes with the way you approach them. I'd rather come to a label being like, look, this is my fans, this is my body of work, this is my catalog, this is what I've done. Now, I want to work with you. I know that I have value to bring you because my music is going to make you money. And now I need your resources to push
my shit out there, because I'm popping around,
so we can make more money.
But we need to be out there, you know.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's how it goes.
So, and then when you come to a label, I think like that with like more power, with more value and stuff, then it's a better situation, as opposed to you being kind of like the little guy or like, hey, can you guys help me out? Like then they're
or like just going for your first, like, you know, the first label that comes to you, getting all excited. You know what I mean? Like that's not what you want to do. You know, like.
And you want to check this out because Dabo kind of touched on it too, that like sometimes, and I've experienced it too, like, you know, when you have a team and it's great, but you rely on them a little bit, and then you kind of see that at the end of the day, they're either probably trying to do it for themselves or they're going to fall off, right? And then you're leaning on somebody, and then what's going to happen? Like they fall off and then you're caught off balance. You know what I mean? But when you have your own 2 feet, strong and steady, and like you're good to go, and you're not trying to lean on a label, you're not trying to lean on like somebody to put you on, then that you're just that much better,
That much stronger.
and yeah, that much stronger, so that nobody's gonna mess with you. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
So, but that just at the end of the day, it all just comes with the hard work of making music.
And honestly, it's not easy to make music, to find a rhythm, to do that. You know what I mean? Especially in your head, when you think you're making it, you might think like, like, you know, you might get into your own head, you know, don't psych yourself out, you know, like definitely, yeah, gotta just make a lot of work, a lot of practice, you know, and don't be afraid to show it to people, because that's not, you know, at the end of the day, you're gonna show it to people when you put it out, you know. So showing it to your friends, even showing it to your parents and stuff like that. Like in the beginning, I was only showing my music to my mom, you know, like, and if she fucked with it, I was like, all right, man, I'll show it to my friends now.
and even if your friends don't like it, that'll prepare you for when other people aren't gonna like your shit, you know.
And just because if your friends don't like it doesn't mean other people won't like it, bro. There's so much, like, oh fuck, like Lil Nas X, you know, I'm not a big fan of that, but he has a fan base, you know. So never think that you won't have fans, bro. There's fans for everything.
Yeah, everything. If you like it, somebody's
gonna like it, exactly. So, you know, but like you were saying, the hard work. So definitely for producing, if that's what you guys want to do, put a lot of time. I would say I watch a lot of YouTube tutorials. Like that's what definitely helped me. Besides going to Los Angeles recording school, that's a big one. If you guys want to really, really learn some shit, that'll be big. But if you guys are just trying to, like, you know, you can do it at home, which you definitely could. A lot of YouTube tutorials, and like watch DJs talk about what they do or whatever. And like literally, if you have like the programs, like follow them as they're doing something in the session, like, and then like copy them. And then once you have that copied, you can do your own thing to it, you know? Like that was what actually someone like told me, like if you're trying to make music, copy someone's style and like get that style down. And then you could tweak it to whatever you want to do. And then like, or once you're copying their style, you're just learning how to make music. Like you're just learning, you know? And that's like really the only practice. Like there's not a lot of practice for like DJing or, you know, making music, you know. There's not like school or classes for that, you know. Like you kind of just got to get your hands dirty, you know.
Yeah. So even like that's because watching YouTube videos, but then at the end of the day, like you said, you got to apply it. You know what I mean? So
you can't just watch, because trust, you might watch it and think you understand it, and it's gonna be gone from your head. Like I literally, sounds weird too, but I go to sleep watching YouTube tutorials on like TV, because my mom's always telling me to hear shit. Maybe I'll just go there subconsciously or whatever.
Right?
I swear, bro. So I put on YouTube and I look up producing tips, bro, and I watch it until I knock out, and it's boring half the time, so you're gonna fall asleep. You know what I mean? So watching it, but it's just playing in the background, and then like, you know, like who knows? It might be going in there or not. Who knows? But it's on, and I'm just trying. Like there's a lot of stuff just applying it. You know, like. It's like when they say, like, when you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror and say you're going to have a good day. Like, you're going to have a good day because you tricked yourself into doing that, you know? So you got to trick yourself into being like, all right, I'm going to be a producer. I'm going to be a DJ, you know? Like, got to put that stuff out there and like, try, you know?
You kind of have to become obsessed with this kind of stuff sometimes.
And not feel, like, afraid or weird about it or afraid. Like, even all my friends, whenever all my friends come to my house to chill or, like, you know, do whatever, and we hang out at my house, always show them my music. That's the first thing I do. I always tell them, like, yo, I'm gonna show you guys some stuff. They're like, all right, for sure, let's do this first or whatever. And because I want to see what they say. You know what I mean? I want to see how far I've come or what they think. And like, you can't be afraid to like be. That's part of like being obsessed, is like wanting to show everybody, not being afraid. Like, you know, because that's your craft, it's your art.
That's what I said about being crazy. You know what I mean? Like, oh, people in my classroom think I'm crazy because all I want to do is fucking practice my fader scratch or something. You know what I mean? Or, you know what I mean? It's just because you're obsessed and like.
You won't be crazy.
You're crazy.
Rocking it.
Yeah. But when you're the one killing it, you know, they're not gonna think you're crazy.
Not at all.
They're gonna be like, damn, you're shit.
Now my Asian teacher thinks I'm fucking crazy.
It's tough in high school because like, you know, they don't look at DJing like that. They're not thinking that, you know. But trust, there's a wave and there's a way. Like I'm doing this. He's definitely doing this. You know, there's a way where you can make money and still have fun, and like you're striving to where you want to get, you know, and taking these steps, you know. So yeah,
man. Well, let's say thank you to Dabo, man. Thank you for coming through.
That's right.
Appreciate it, bro.
Guys, my boy,
of course, man. And we got the dub on Sunday too.
Oh, I know, we both did.
We're both big
Fantasy
Raider
football
fans.